Oh, you're recording. Oh, you've discovered how.
I'm going to try. But I'm also going to make a sound recording in case the video for Brenda and Diana.
Right.
So if the video fails, I've got at least got it in audio.
We found previously that the bandwidth is easier to accommodate if I take off the background.
Yeah. Oh, Suzanne's just coming in.
Oh, lovely.
I still got a message up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Morning, Suzanne. Good morning. Morning.
Morning.
Morning. See you.
Have you got your lady, Suzanne?
I'm
Oh no.
being obliterated. You're all being obliterated by the message that the meeting is being recorded.
If you click got it, it disappears.
Well done. I was too nervous to click it. Right. Thank you very much. Got it. Lovely. Thank you, everybody.
Right. How's that? Is that any better?
Thank you. Thank you.
So who have we got then? We've got Mo. I'm just making notes here. Terry, Max. You're looking beautiful this morning, Max.
I've been hot and bothered. I've been sitting in the shade in the garden. It's too hot for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. I don't do this kind of weather. I go into hibernation.
It's going to get
me too. I don't like hot.
I know that. I'm going to Cambridge on Friday and it's 32 degrees.
Oh.
Well, that'll be lovely and warm.
No, can't cope.
Well, you can always jump in the river, can't you?
Well, it's not technically by a river, but there we go. Don't.
Is it the River Cam or something?
It is the River Cam, but I'm not actually going to Cambridge. I'm going near Cambridge, but I've still got to get there.
Okay.
And it's just too much hassle when it's hot like this.
I agree. That's it, David. Clear the nasal passage.
Well, one has to. There we are. I can see you now. Well, it's 10 of the clock, so shall we kick off and see whether we can do a screen share and see whether that works. Let's see whether I can do a screen share. And this is going to be interesting. It's not one of those. Let's see if I can minimize that and get rid of that and get rid of that and go there and then bring back.
I've got a strange noise. Have you got a strange noise? Ah, it's stopped now.
Yeah. A whirring noise.
You've got a whirring noise.
Work being done next door. It might be here. Yes. Yeah.
Like someone's drilling a hole somewhere.
Yes. Yes. It's next door. I'll mute my audio if it gets annoying.
There we are.
Yes.
Now we should be on screen share, folks.
Hang on. That is just driving.
And you should have Brenda's
empty gaze.
Is rather fine. So now the topic was less is more, which I know you've done before, but now you are so much more expert than you were 10 years ago that we have to be quite critical of whether it addresses the topic. So if I may, I'll kick off into our usual chat. Feel free to interrupt me if you disagree or have something further to say. But I think this is a rather fine photo, and particularly the fact that Brenda has gone down to the eye level of the gentleman involved. She's placed him on the third on the left-hand side, and he's quite clearly looking to his left into something that's going on over here. And we don't need to know what's going on. What this is about is this rather fine portrait, very well taken, of the gentleman. Now, in its favor, it has a fine stroke line, just perfect and regular, but it's a little bit busy in the background. And that means that it just misses the point of less is more. But it certainly does score the point on being a fine portrait, very well taken, well composed, and well exposed. So 2/3 of a tick on that one, Brenda. Well done. Let me just make sure I've got my score sheet running. So well done. Super one for another competition. Keep it, don't lose it. Feel free to use it again in another competition. Let's go to next. And we have Brenda again. Now, less is more. That's really good. That's minimalist. It's about the umbrella, but more particularly, it is about the shadow. And that shadow makes it, doesn't it? I hope you will agree with me. And as such, the only thing against it, and I'm being a bit negative here, is that the shadow just kisses the edge of the image. If you can see where my cursor is, my little pointer, and just a smidge more emulsion, a smidge more space there would have made it even better. Nonetheless, I think that's a cracking good image, and certainly addresses less is more. What a fine photographer this lady is. What a fine photographer. Really, really good. Sharpness, look at the sharpness, ladies and gentlemen, of the umbrella itself, the sunshade, and yet the sand and the ripples in the sea are soft, and that's perfect. Really, really perfect. So well done, Brenda. That's, oh, Granddad's clock is chiming, if you can hear it. Let me think.
About 2 minutes fast.
2 minutes fast, 2
2
minutes
minutes
late.
slow, I mean, 2 minutes slow.
Yeah, well, we are in Wiltshire, so things
Of
don't
course.
happen.
Yeah, there will be a
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
There will be a difference, but there we go. Really good, Brenda. Congratulations. If Mo's successfully recording this, and I have every confidence that he is, then that's certainly a winner in no uncertain terms. Let's move on to the next, which I'm struggling to see. There we go. And the sand worker. Oh, what a sweet picture. Really is a sweet picture. I don't know whether my cursor is going to behave. No. Sweet picture, beautifully focused. The child and his wheelbarrow, his or her wheelbarrow, is perfectly focused. And look at the wonderful soft focus on the background. There's nothing else in this image. And here the soft focus on the sand nearest us. She's so good, this girl. Do you know what? I'm going to have to make the next topic even more difficult. Well, anyway, I've given you the next topic, haven't I? For your musical one. How was the music one? Is everyone suitably engaged in the music task?
It's quite a challenge, David.
Excellent. Blooming excellent. That's what I like to hear. Quite a challenge. And I hope you enjoy Willie Nelson with his music. I know that Fred's going to enjoy Willie Nelson. He's heavily into Willie Nelson, aren't you, Fred?
Yeah, Wee Wizened Willie, they used to call him. Country and Western singer, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, fabulous, fabulous. He's famous for all sorts of things, one of which is his music. I won't tell you the other ones. Brenda, that's a fabulous image. Well worth scoring high marks. So terrific. Super. Do we want the sky? Well, I say yes, we do. Do you know what really makes this picture even better is the inclusion of that floating buoy there. And I love that. I'd keep that, and I would keep the sky. Do we want all of the sky? Well, in my opinion, yes, we do. So well done, Brenda. Absolutely fantastic. Terrific. Let's move on. And we've got Diana's hanging around. Oh, what a good image. Now, this is one of those where, you know, I've said it before. If you showed this to your grandma, if you're lucky enough still to have a grandma, and what would grandma say? Well, why on earth did you take a picture of a hose pipe hanging on a hook on a stem? Well, because we are photographers and we do. And that's really imaginative. Well done, Diana. I don't know whether that's on our trip to Salisbury. It is. It's very well seen. Lovely focus on the subject, beautifully positioned on the right hand third, with a soft focus, wide aperture on the background. That is really a standout photo. So Diana, fantastic. And I think in another competition, that would be a winner. Depends, of course, what it's up against, and it depends on the judge. You know, if you get a grumpy old judge that doesn't understand it, then no chance. But I think that is a winning photo. So really well done, Diana. Absolutely no criticism. Some people may have said that you should have that on the left-hand side, but I rather suspect there's too much clutter to the right. But what you might consider doing is reflecting the photo around the y-axis, that is to say left to right, and that would give the opposite composition of the ladder being on the left-hand third. See it, look at it, see if you like it. If you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, leave it as it is. And I would say myself, this is absolutely spectacular. Well done. So another full marks on that one, Diana. Moving on to this engineered, once upon a time engineered, what is it? Is it a water hydrant? Looks like an American fire hydrant. I suspect it's a water outlet somewhere. And is this the date it was taken? May 23rd this year. Really well seen. It's a little bit dominant in the frame, and I'd like a little bit more emulsion on the left and the right. I can tell what it is, and I love the texture of the whatever that is, that decay, decay and degradation there. It's really, really promising. Another fabulous image, but I'd like a little more of this out of focus background. Well chosen aperture, well chosen focus on the subject itself, but being quite harsh about it, I would say the previous image is even better. Nonetheless, it's a cracker. And I wonder if you have any more emulsion on your raw image. I hope you have. I'm not going to worry about EXIF data. I don't know if I get all this silly thing in here. How do I move on? Can't seem to get this out of the way. There we go. Right, so terrific image, thank you. Moving on, Tolsbury Fleet. Well, this is where we got told off for being a threat to a boat full of children that we couldn't see. And those of you that came, didn't we have a lovely day? It was superb weather. And Diana has given us here leading lines on this walkway, these planks, taking us into the marshland here. What a lovely sky. Even the sky is allowing us to see some leading lines. I like that. If you can see the way that the water is actually blurred, so a fairly slow shutter speed to allow the movement of the water to blur it. Beautifully done. Dead sharp on the walkway into the marshes and strong leading lines. However, if you have leading lines, in my opinion, it should take you to something. So I would like something there for my eye to settle upon, whether it's a moored boat or a left-handed stiletto heel or a swan or something. I don't know, and I don't mind. I'm wondering whether I want all of the right-hand side of this image, and I think perhaps just cropping it so as to keep a very strong line here, keep that, but lose everything to the right of it. And that would give us a slightly more square format. with the leading lines off to one side. But I really would like something for my eye to settle upon. Maybe you've got a swan somewhere in your archive that you could park in there. Doesn't want to be too dominant, just wants to be something. Maybe not a boat, a boat might be too dominant. Swan, duck, swimmer, left-handed stiletto heel. Nonetheless, good image. So well done on that one. And moving on to the next. And we had, oh, look at this. Fred's iris, beautifully positioned in the frame. That shadow does it all for me. That really makes it. You know, I've said before, shadows make a photo, and I like that very much indeed. My only concern about it is that the white of the iris blossom is somewhat lost against the white of the backdrop. That's a little bit, I won't say it's burned out because it's not, but I'd be interested to see the raw file and actually focus in on that, those petals, particularly that dominant one, and see whether there's any detail in that. If there is, perhaps turning up your slider for texture or adjusting the brightness of that. Beautifully composed, beautifully positioned. I like it very much indeed. And yeah, another good one there. So well done, Fred. Let me just see. Get that down. So that's a good mark there. Well done, Fred. A very good stroke line. I don't know if I can do that. Let's have a look at that. Has that enlarged for you, folks? Has that enlarged on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can see that Fred has chosen this lime green stroke line, key line. Some people call it a key line. And I guess that Fred has chosen the green from in here somewhere, which is ideal with the color dropper tool, or color sampler tool. And that's really ideal. Now, I like that choice of a color for the key line, the stroke line. And I must say, well, all judges are different, aren't they? Some of them are grumpy old so-and-sos, but nonetheless, I like that very much indeed. But have a go at working on that up there, Fred, because I think that's well worth considering. Is it a raw file, Fred?
Yes, I was shooting raw.
Yeah, so that's good. Then you've got lots of opportunity there to explore the possibility of increasing the texture and the contrast. Are you on Photoshop or Elements?
I've got Elements, but I also have the other one. Name it now. Half of Photoshop, Lightroom.
Lightroom. Oh,
Lightroom, and then I go into Elements to finish it off.
Right, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Yeah, that's very good. Have a look and see what Lightroom will do for you on that. Are you on the latest Lightroom, or are you on?
No, I actually paid for this one.
It's a pay for. Is that
Yeah,
subscription?
I think it's 6 I'm on.
Is that subscription?
No, I bought it outright.
Oh, you bought it. Oh, right. The latest Lightroom. You know, I was talking previously about bringing in texture. Previous discussion we had. The latest Lightroom has the most marvelous masking tool. So if you were to try out, you can get a free trial of Lightroom CC, and that is genuinely for free. I mean, they'll try to sell it to you after your 30 days trial, and just explore the masking facility, and it is absolutely the business. Really is. You'll be knocked over sideways by it. It's fantastic.
I've tried with the idea of going to Photoshop altogether, but I just don't want to pay. How much?
Yeah, I understand
£10
that.
a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's about I pay a tenner a month, but
Yeah.
I get so much fun out of it, so much
Yeah.
use out of it.
And you get all the updates as well, don't you? Like I
You
haven't got
do.
mine.
Now, the only problem with that, and Iris will back me up on this, I'm sure. The only problem is that no sooner do you get familiar with all the sliders and the tools and the things to tick, then they let me will add another one
They
and
change
another thing.
it.
Yeah, and if you're not careful, well, even if you
Yeah.
are careful, you can suddenly think, oh, there's a new tool. Let's spend 5 minutes on that. And you and I know 5 minutes lasts a good couple of hours once you're into Lightroom or Photoshop. And I think it was Sally. Oh, good morning, Sally. I haven't seen you were there. It was Sally I was talking to about that. I know Sally is a blossoming expert at Lightroom, and maybe we'll have a lesson from Sally next time.
No.
Oh, you're doing that well with it, are you? I tell you what, it took me 2 years to learn how to use Lightroom.
Yes, I'm still wading my way through.
Yeah, yeah, just do one thing at a time, Sally. Anyway, getting back to Fred, I think a lot more work to do on that one, but it's worth pursuing, very much. So I do like that. Let's move on. Well done, Fred. Thank you. To Fred's wish. Now you've got, let's just minimize that a little tiny bit, and look at this. Now, this is a carefully constructed photo. We know for sure, don't we, that the camera never lies. So Fred was lucky enough to capture this falling seed with its plume of tendrils. It's a dandelion seed, isn't it? Which just happened to fall in the right position when he was holding his camera. We won't suppose that it was dropped 1,000 times and photographed 999 times and just one of them got it right, and this is the one. And it happened by sheer chance that there was a beautiful cloud, just perfect and regular, placed in exactly the right position at that time. And as we know, the camera never lies. So what have we got here? We've got simplicity. We've got minimalism. We've got less is more, and it is terrific. So well done, Fred. Now, the only comment I would have is whether you have considered cropping it. You can see where my cursor is over here, somewhere left of that beautiful little fluffy cloud. And thank goodness it's not just a plain blue sky on that day. Now, of course,
Couldn't possibly do that with you, David, could I?
well, you knew. I have seen millions of photos, and not everyone agrees with my criticism. I was judging a particular club that was not a million miles away from Shenfield, and somebody passed out during my judging. Oh Lord, I've killed him.
Just sleep.
I've actually killed someone during my judging. Well, they were able to revive him, and I'm given to understand he's still alive. But it did bring me up short a little bit. I couldn't even wake him up by shouting or clapping or whatever. And I said, well, you better look after, his name is Peter. Somebody better look after Peter because I'm afraid I've killed him. And anyway, look, Fred, consider but don't necessarily adopt my suggestion of putting a crop in there. I love the title. I love the image. I love the, what's the word? Perspicacity, the happy chance. Is that the right word? That you captured this dandelion seed against this wonderful sky, and it's a winner. Well done, Fred. Well done. Hey, you've got such good pictures, you people. How am I going to judge between this lot? Bring it back. Yeah, this made me laugh when I first looked at it. Yeah, terrific. Bring it back. And this, I don't know, was this in Tollsbury, Fred?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, very well seen. Would it have been better with just one wheelbarrow? Well, could be, but there were 4 on the occasion, so take it for heaven's sake. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I would say to you, what time of day was this taken? Well, look at the shortness of the shadow. This is a midday or close to midday. So Fred has cunningly looked for shadows. And this is a very, very strong technique. Look for what's in the shadow and photograph that, because in the strong sunlight, it would have been burned out and rather boring. Alternatively, go back at a different time and get long shadows. Shadows make a photo. Beautifully cropped. I'm not distracted by the brightness of the gravel here at the bottom. I'm not distracted by the reading, but remember, if you have writing in a photograph, people will read it. It's obligatory, it's human nature. The only way you can get away with it is if it's in foreign text and bubble writing. And I've told you the story of the photo I took in Cambodia, and I won't repeat it. Really well seen. And could it be improved? Well, yes, but go back again on another occasion, either early or late, and have another photo mission there. It's a terrific place to go for photo missions. And I think we didn't all make it. I remember Bill's not logged on, and we didn't all make it, but very kindly Bill drove Iris and myself. That was an interesting ride, wasn't it, Iris?
Yes, was. I survived.
Well, we all survived. No, it was very kind of Bill to volunteer to take us this time, so it saved me from driving, and I was able to look around at the surroundings, so that was super. And yes, I like that a lot, but I'd like, in ideal circumstances, to see fewer, less is more, of these wheelbarrows. You could have moved 3 of them and left one, maybe this left-hand one, or number 1. So either number 1 or number 5, and still kept the writing. So Fred, homework, get in your car, get on your bike. It's a hell of a long drive to a bicycle ride to get to Tollsbury, nonetheless. What a great place. Shall we go there again one of these days? And yeah, and we had a marvelous meal there. If you remember that meal, it was great, wasn't it? Really super. So well done, Fred. And I'll move on. Enough said about that one. Let's go to, oh, this is good. Iris's first class. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Now that reminds me of the little oldie worldie train that I saw up in Norfolk. I was there last year, and Iris has just got a fabulous picture there. Now, do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember years and years ago? They don't have them now. They had those funny little faces, which was just a face and a nose and some fingers. I just wanted a child looking out the window here, and if you are allowed to take pictures in public spaces of children, policemen, soldiers, whoever, whatever the Daily Mail would have you believe, and that would just have made that photo just a child's face, or even there, just with its nose squashed up against the glass. So, given the opportunity, take random child, stick it in carriage, and get it to make faces at you. But that's lovely. Where is that, Iris?
Yorkshire.
Is it?
Mm.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, there you are. There's somewhere to go in your new car. A new ride to Yorkshire. I love that. That's really lovely and very simple. I just want something, because my eye is drawn to this. What would you say? These capitals, these letters, this
Logo. It's a logo.
It's a logo. So what is GNR? What does that stand for?
Northern Railway.
Railway, something railway. Great Northern Railway, isn't
Oh, right. And is it a railway museum in York or something like that?
Yes.
Right. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I like that. So well done. And it certainly is less is more. I hope you took lots for your library of pictures to dip into when you're looking for difficult challenges. Oh, sounds like Mr. Amazon's come. Let me just make sure, because it's my granddaughter's birthday present. Bear with me. Say hello.
We switched off.
I think we're all still here. He's just come
We're
to.
all there. It's just
Yeah.
not switched off.
No.
No, I'm switched off. I'm
That's
still
the same.
here. It's Mr. Amazon came to the door, so excuse me having to whiz off. Right, so I love that one. Thanks, Iris. Good one for your library, and I know you can dip into those for difficult assignments like Willie Nelson. Don't know if you're into Willie Nelson, Iris, are you?
No.
No, well, you will be. You will be. You will be an addict.
Good answer. I like that.
Maurice, be quiet. Right, come fly with me. I like this, the way that Iris has actually blurred this image and concentrated on the fly. I don't know if that's a horse fly. Does anyone know about flies? Is it a horse fly?
I don't know.
No.
It looks like one that bites horribly. Now, my only criticism, I love this blur around the edge, which Iris has done using some jiggery-pokery software. What software are you using at present, Iris?
Photoshop. Just Photoshop. I know.
Photoshop, yeah, good on. I'm wondering, because it's a little bit central, and I'm wondering whether you have considered cropping it around about there, so as to leave.
Yes, I did. Didn't
Yeah.
like it.
You didn't like it. Well, that's a very important
In the
point.
middle there.
Try it, and if you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, then go back to the original. Yeah, I think that's good. And similarly, I'm seeing a little bit of a fluff bunny or something there. Can you see where I'm pointing to? Let's see if I can enlarge it. Yeah, there's something there. Can you see that?
Mm.
So I'm wondering whether a crop or even
Looks like a blob on the lens.
yeah, it looks like what's called a fluff bunny. Just sort that out with your tools in Photoshop and consider cropping it around about there and around about there. And if you don't like it, ignore what I said. But there again, everyone does. So do what suits you. But for heaven's sake, try it and see. So well done on that one. Less is more. Well, it certainly is less. And it certainly is more. It's all about the title, Come Fly With Me. I like that. Yeah. Could be an advert for Fly Airways, couldn't it? Yeah, I like that. Well done, Iris. Well done. Super duper. And is that on your latest new computer? Oh, I know who this is. Look at him. He's gorgeous, isn't he? What a lovely boy. Yeah, exactly. I'll just reduce it so we can see the composition. And that's spectacular, isn't it? Yeah. Now, well, come on then, Iris. What am I going to say? What would the judge say?
Darken that bit down the left-hand side.
Just around where the sun is on the grass. Yes. Anything else?
I don't know.
No. Well, which way is your dog looking?
He's looking back.
He's looking back. So really, we want a little bit more emulsion on here.
No, I didn't have any more picture of him on there.
Ah, don't tell me you only took one picture.
I can't remember that, but I didn't have any more.
Right, okay. So, well, let's just talk about if you had the opportunity, well, you haven't got the opportunity every day, to get a little bit more of the dog to look into and a little bit less over here. Now, where was this taken from?
Where was it taken from? Oh, I don't know. It took some minutes. Well, just happened. I don't know.
It's in your garden.
No.
It doesn't matter. That's not really the answer.
Exactly.
What I'm thinking is that it's taken from your eye height, and you would have been even better. I mean, it's a beautiful picture of your doggy, taken at dog's eye height.
They would have been gone by then.
That does mean getting down and shooting at his level, but then you've got to be careful of what the background is going to be. And you might say, well, then it will have been the houses or the building or the pylons or the field or whatever. I think that's an admirable picture, certainly of less is more. But I think it needs, well, homework. Go back, do it again. There's your afternoon sorted out for you, isn't it? Yeah, well done, Iris. Lovely image, super dog, beautiful. Is he well behaved at present?
Yes, he's asleep on the floor here.
Excellent, excellent. Now we're into Caroline. Caroline, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, is an expert photographer. And I'm keen that Caroline should consider becoming a judge because she is so good. She is so good. Let's have a look at the composition. Is the subject on which we focus our attention, is it on the third? Yes, it is. Is there somewhere for the subject to look into, looking out to sea? Yes, there is. So Caroline has adopted or enlisted a random person, which may not be quite as random as I'm making up, but nonetheless. Position them in an appropriate position, focus on them, and we can just see the focus is gradually drifting into softness. If you look up here, the waves here are breaking, and it's a sufficiently slow shutter speed for that to be both soft and a little bit blurred. So we've got three-dimensionality. Further, Caroline has cropped this very appropriately. Look at this, it's a 9:4 aspect ratio. That basically means the width compared with the height, and it's very, very well done. I like that a lot. Look at the shadows. Shadows make it. If we were to set Caroline some homework, what would we tell her to do? Well, come on then, let's have a look and see. Who's going to volunteer to be the judge? Sally, come on, you're an expert. What would you set for homework for Caroline, given that this is the picture we are critiquing?
Oh, I haven't got a clue, David. Don't ask me.
Yes, you have. Come on.
No, I haven't. I'm sorry. I'm not very well today, so I'm struggling to kind of keep up with you. So just
okay. Well,
pass, please.
Anyone else volunteering?
I'd cut a piece off the right-hand side.
You want to cut a piece off there? Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
I'd cut a piece off, then I'd flip it over so she's looking into it.
Flick it around so they're looking out to the right. That's a very good suggestion, Iris. You've been here before, haven't you?
Yeah, once or twice.
And anything else, ladies and gentlemen? No?
No, it looks all right to me. Looks all right as it is to me, actually.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. I'll just indicate to you. See where I'm pointing?
Mm-hmm.
Shadow.
Well, lighten it. You could lighten that bit, I suppose.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'd leave it alone. I quite like the contrast, the black against the lighter sea. I like that. Well, Caroline, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, come on. What homework can I give you? Be a
I have no idea.
Yes, you have. Okay, I'll ask you a question. What time was this photo taken?
It was sometime in the morning, late morning.
Late
But
morning.
it was last February I took it.
Okay, late morning will do me nicely. Look at the shortness of the shadow.
Yeah.
Now.
So I should have come later, but then that boy might have gone. Because it was a random boy. I just took several pictures along the seafront, and he was standing there. So
perfect. Yeah. Who was it used to pick up random strangers? I don't mean that in a nasty way. I think it was Suzanne. Often had random strangers she put into her photo. Suzanne, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, come on, you be the judge. Come on, what are you going to tell me? What time was this photo taken, and what homework would you set Caroline?
Well, I think you more or less said it. You would have taken it at a different time of day to get a longer shadow.
You are there. You are.
As Caroline said, the boy would have gone, so she'd have missed the boat.
As we know, the camera never lies. is it possible, Caroline, that you could take that shadow with your
Yeah.
U3A Photography software and
Yeah, I could
sketch the
make it
shadow?
longer. Yes.
Make it long. You can probably do that in software. Have a
Yes.
play. See if you can, because I think then
Okay.
that's a winning photo. That's a really, really good photo. So, Caroline, I think that's an admirable winning photo. Terrific. Well done. And I'm being a bit critical. It's less is more. It's beautifully taken in terms of exposure, shutter speed, and aperture and ISO. I just would have liked it later in the day that you can perhaps stretch that shadow, or I'll give you a little clue. Try copying it and pasting it in here just to double its length.
Yes.
You might want to just blur it a little bit so it doesn't look too obvious that you've worked on it. But that's a cracker. Well done, Caroline. And I think if you can be a judge to your own photos, and you know, Iris's suggestion, take a little bit off the right. You may or may not like it. I rather think that you'll try it and then say, no, I liked it the way it was, which is great. It's great. It's the hardest thing, critiquing your own photos, isn't it? It really is. Anyway, you don't have to agree with me, but I think it's the hardest thing. So let's move on. Caroline, terrific. And here we have exactly what I think Iris said to me, flipping the previous photo, and it's already flipped, isn't it? We've got the two people, that might even be the same boy.
Yeah, it is. His mother joined him later.
Yeah, walking to the right, beautifully taken, and on the third, lots of space to walk into, good exposure. I don't know whether Caroline has darkened this corner. If you have, it's very well done. If it's coincidence, that's very, very opportune. I like that a lot. Iris is going to say chop a little bit off the left-hand side. I think if we take Iris's point from previously, and I think that's worth considering. Is there anything else that we would adjust to this photo?
There are no shadows.
Yeah, okay. Perhaps we could work on the shadow situation. I'll go along with that. Anything else?
There's a pole in the sea.
Exactly. We've got this pole here. Now that's easily corrected, but it's worth correcting. And
can I say, David, I only just noticed that. I did correct it, but I sent in the wrong one. I have got one without the pole.
Good. Well, I think that's again a winning photo as far as less is more, good exposure, opportunistic photo. You've taken the opportunity of taking this photo, random people, beautifully positioned in February, you say. So yes. yeah, that's a goodie, real goodie. Well done, Caroline. I'll move on, and everything is good about that photo. And now this one leaves me wondering. Let's go through what I like. I like the way that the waves are breaking on that groin there. That's superb. And I quite like the composition with this groin being diagonal. Well, not quite diagonal, but I like it. But all of this on the right-hand side is immaterial to me. And I would definitely crop a lot of that off, maybe where that post is, or maybe even that second post, because these patches are distracting me. I'd like you to clone. You know what clone is? Copy a piece from here and park it over there. Copy a piece from here, paste it over that, and crop the whole image, maybe keeping that post as a doorstop. Yeah, I think I'm coming around to thinking that's a good position for a prop line. But then you have to clone some of these rocks and paste them in there, and that gives me this as my attention. What about title? So, Caroline, what about title?
Sorry?
The title. How is the title for you?
Breakwater.
Yeah, I know what it is, but
I know you've got a better one, have you?
Well, I'm just wondering whether you've got a better one.
No, not really. I had trouble finding that one.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Titles I find are the hardest thing to decide upon. But I'm looking at the way the wave is breaking. Breaking wave. This to me is a photo of a breaking wave rather than
Right.
a breakwater. Do you see where I'm going with that? But I like the shutter speed. I like the way you've captured that. And as I say, clone. Can you do cloning with your software?
Yes, yes, I can.
And just park it in there before you crop anything. Clone bits of these rocks and put them in there, and then consider, but not necessarily do it if you don't like it, cropping it around about there. See if you like it. If you don't like it, leave it as it is.
Yeah.
But
the reason I did it that size was because they matched the other two, so it's like a triptych.
You're doing a triptych, yeah. But I think.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Well, I mean, if you want to keep it as a triptych, that's a good idea. And you'll need to clone in some of the rocks from here on that patch. Yeah, very strong image, Caroline. Well done. So,
Can I say something?
yes.
I've tried to take that picture and it's very, very difficult because that at the bottom there is not flat. It's a wall, isn't it? You're looking over the wall.
Yep.
And I think she's
No, it's not a wall. It's the slope going down to the beach.
Yeah.
But it's sort of but is it to the beach then? Or perhaps
where the stones go down to the beach.
What's
it's not a wall.
Not the wall.
No, it's not the wall.
It's in the corner in the right hand.
What are you thinking? That piece there?
That piece there. So
that's a good.
That could be.
I'm looking down now.
Yeah, that's a good observation, actually. Taking Iris's point, could you clone some of these stones? Can you see where I'm pointing? Let's try and enlarge it.
Yeah.
And then move it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's better. It's much better.
Get these people out of the way.
Without all the stones on the. Yeah. I should have cropped it better.
Well, no. We're always thinking of developing it further.
Sorry, when you take difficult.
Clone some of those and cover up this little bit of whatever it is, and then you see, look, that's a very strong picture there. Yeah, I'm liking that more and more. Caroline, what is this down here? Is that seaweed?
No, I think that is the actual beach.
Oh, that's the actual beach, right?
Yeah, with seaweed on the beach. It's the right hand corner is a little bit of wall or pavement.
Yeah,
but then all the rocky bits is where it slopes down to the beach.
Yeah.
And then the black bit is actually a bit of the beach.
Yeah, I see. Well, I would consider, and I think there's mileage in this photo. There really is mileage. Consider, I think it was Iris's point of cloning some of these rocks and covering up these, I'll call them sandy patches. It doesn't matter what they really are. And certainly clone some of that and paste it on the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Further, and I don't know if you're able, was this a raw image or a JPEG?
No, it's not raw. It's just
not raw.
I don't know how to do it raw. I know my camera does it, but I haven't figured out how.
Right. Okay. If it's raw, you'd be able to bring out some of the detail in this seaweed, a little more detail in this seaweed, which I'd like to see developed. Here, you see those, the sun is catching some of the timber there, and I think we could probably do without those if we just clone a little bit of the planking and paste it over those sun.
Yeah.
The sun is on the plank. I think there's a lot of mileage in that photo. Yeah, a lot of, yeah, well done. I like it. Thank you very much indeed. I was going to say something else. Oh, yes. Let me say it while I think about it. I'll get rid of these people. Where do they get in there? That's it. They're gone. If you discover that your camera can save a raw image, and let me say every camera takes raw images, but simpler cameras, let me put it that way without being too derogatory, will save the image as a JPEG. Now, if you have the ability to take the same image twice, once RAW and once JPEG, and then look at the file size, you will find that, for instance, if you have a raw image, it's 100 megapixels, let's say. This is just an example. You take the same as a JPEG, you'll find it's something like 3 megapixels. In other words, when you JPEG a raw image, you throw away 97% of the file. And that's why I always recommend taking in RAW if you can persuade your camera to do so. Save it as RAW. You can save it as JPEG as well. And probably on the screen on the back of your camera, it probably is a JPEG. But if you can persuade your camera to take a RAW, save it as RAW, you have 97% more information. And that will give you the detail in this breakwater, the detail in the seaweed, the sand, and the sea, and you can see a huge difference. Just have a little experiment. Just take a picture of your garden, once in RAW, once in JPEG, and see what happens. And I'm sure you'll be astonished how much information is being thrown away when the camera automatically JPEGs your image. Anyway, well done, Caroline, and I think there's a lot of mileage in that image. I think you rather suspected that would be the weakest image, but I don't. I think that's one of your really good images, well worth keeping. So let's move on and have a look at Mags. Now, Mags has got a really good eye for a picture. Look at that. Just remedy that a little bit, and it's really a delicious version of black. Now on my screen, this is monochrome, and Max could keep this for a monochrome competition, perhaps, or the other ones that went with it. But the black here, I'm going to take it that is black. To me, it's a very warm black. It's almost a chocolate black. We used to call it in the old days. Fred will remember this. Bromesco. Do you remember Bromesco, Fred?
No, I did a little bit of producing images with film, but I didn't do an awful lot of it, David.
Right. Okay. Well, to me, the difference in the blacks between this Bromesco, this was a Kodak paper, and the Ilford Ilfo color paper, is that the Ilford black was much colder, much greener, and this is a warmer black. I'm not saying one is better than the other, it depends on the image, but I particularly like the way that Max has seen the texture in this rope. I hope you've taken lots of these, Max, and you've got these.
I hate to tell you this, but the box was brown, not black.
It doesn't matter. Your camera is representing it on my screen as black. I mean, if you want to put it in as brown, that's okay. But if it's monochrome, if you were putting it in another club's competition, monochrome will allow you to do any color you like, so long as it's only one color. Mono is one, chrome is one color. So brown and white, green and white, pink and white, whatever suits you. You got to watch who the judge is. I mean, if they're white, sort of, what shall I say, open-minded judges, that's one thing. If there's some of the grumpy old, never mind, they probably won't appreciate it. So check the judge first. Look at what they like, look at what they do. But yeah, that's good. Now, if we are being critical, the scratches are detracting me. On the other hand, you might say, well, that's all about the texture of the background. I'm getting what looks like a mirror reflection here, a mirror rather than a shadow, a mirror version here, which I don't know, it's a lot of work to get rid of all that texture. And yet it's really, really good. I like that. My perhaps criticism would be chop off some of this on the left-hand side. Can you see where I'm indicating there? And that leaves the knot in the rope there slightly further off center, which I think is advisable. But, you know, Max is going to say, no, I wanted a square image, and square images are quite difficult. Remember about, well, Max won't remember, probably before Max joined us, we had a square format project, and people will have discovered how difficult it is to corrects the composition in a square format. Nonetheless, that's a terrific one, mate. So well done. And I think that's the only comments I would make about that. Do you want to say anything further, Max?
Well, there was lots of other twiddly bits around it, and it was difficult to work out just where I chopped it, because the chain turns into a rope that goes over a, I don't know, it's a strange fishing box that is down by the quay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know really where to chop it, but
yeah, I can see what you're doing there. There's a screw, a Phillips headed screw there and there, which I think I can do without. I rather like the texture in the background, but less is more.
I think the texture adds to it personally.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
You know, just a plain blank background to
Yeah.
me would be no. I
see exactly what you're saying. Yes, it's worth trying and then going back to the original and making a decision. But I think that's good. Where did you find this, Max?
Sidmouth Harbour.
Oh, right. Yeah, great. And again, it's one of those grandma pictures, isn't it? Show it to your grandma and they say, well, what on earth did you take a picture of that for? Well, because we can and we do. We are photographers. So well done, Max. I think that's terrific.
Thank you.
Let's move on from that. And we have here glass and lines. Now, let's just reduce that. Max has struggled here with the composition. I'm putting words into her mouth. And she said, well, where are we going to chop this? Is this an appropriate place to chop it? Do you know what? I think it's perfect. I can see nothing against that composition whatsoever. I will say some small improvement in a moment, but just drink that in, ladies and gentlemen. Drink it in and appreciate how stylistic that is. Less is more. It's minimalist. There isn't anything in there other than this post. If I asked you what it does, I don't know if you know what it does. I don't know what it does, but it's just the subject of this post. Now, what about improving it? What about the aspect ratio, the width compared with the height? It's wonderful, isn't it? Look at that. It's a vertical panorama. It's positioned beautifully with a subject of question on the third. Really, really good minimalist picture. I'll tell you what, mates, that will win in a competition with a decent-minded judge. Yeah, your grandma wouldn't like it if you're lucky enough to still have a grandma, but I like it, and I'm not your grandma. No, it's terrific.
I wasn't sure about the stain beside the post.
Love it. Love it. Here.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, because that's giving three-dimensionality. Now, what about criticisms? Anyone got a criticism for an improvement? I don't mean a criticism negative. I mean one positive.
I'd like to see it in monochrome.
I tried monochrome.
Yeah.
And it sort of disappears into nothing. It sort of doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Good suggestion. Good trial. I think it rather depends on the monochroming program that you use. And I would suggest, Mags, that if you look at a guy called Gavin Hoey, Hoey, Gavin Hoey, and look back at his tutorials, he has a monochroming procedure, which is quite different from just clicking the button on your software jiggery-pokery. But I think that's a very good suggestion, because you want to retain the three-dimensionality between the post and the stains on the planking there. Monochrome may work, may not. Max has tried it and she decided to keep it. And I actually like that two-tone that you've got there. That's really a good two-tone. I like it. I think I agree with you keeping it, but I definitely would try monochroming it. Any other critiques?
I've got a question. Sorry. Go on, Iris.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'd darken the bottom to give it a base. The bottom two, just the bottom two.
Yeah.
Panels.
Yeah.
So that it's got a base, it sits on something.
Yeah. Would you
But
keep,
it's
Iris, would you keep all of those planks at the bottom?
well, you could cut the bottom two off, and then you've got the dark bit. So I think it's excellent. So,
I personally, I'd try cropping them off. Do you know what? I'd come back to keeping them. I thought you might say crop it off there underneath, well, on the edge of the lower plank. But you know what? I like those. If I cover that up with my hand, it's not such a strong photo. I like that a lot, Max. You've got a very, very good eye. Well done.
I think it's, yeah.
What I find bizarre is, now that I've cropped it, would
Yeah.
you believe the top bit is a roof?
Yeah.
To me, on that photograph, it looks vertical rather than horizontal.
Yeah, it does to me.
And I know for a fact it doesn't look right to me as a photograph, because I know the top bit is flat and it doesn't look flat in that.
Oh, well, that's because you've got previous knowledge. We are looking at it with fresh eyes, and I think that is a stunningly good image. There is one further thing I would suggest to you, or two, maybe. Anyone else can spot the two things that
There are two little black dots on there that may or may not be necessary. I don't know.
you're talking about that one there?
Yeah, and there's one at the bottom as well.
And you're talking about, now that is part of the texture of the wood.
No, it's further down.
Oh, there.
That one.
Yeah, yeah.
No, further down on the other board.
That one there.
That one.
Yeah. But let me add to something. Add something to what I've already said. Look at this wonderful texture in these planks. Now, you know what I'm going to say about RAW and JPEGs, and I think I know your answer, but you should, if that's a RAW image, you should be able to bring out that texture, but not too much, because I go back to the original size, the texture in those planks is almost immaterial. It's all about the simplistic.
Do you want to know the bad news?
Go on.
That was taken with my mobile phone.
Doesn't matter. It's the person that uses it and what you're doing. Now, I don't know whether mobile phones can do RAW images.
No.
Don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're advertising such fantastic things about these mobile phone cameras. Yeah. Let's say they do take wonderful pictures, but your average Joe public has got no idea what a good picture is. But Mags, this is stunning. This is stunning.
What can I say? Thank you.
Do we know what the image is? You've called it glass and lines. Is it something made of glass?
It's the roof of the hotel.
But what is the object? I don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
It's the opening.
We were staying in a hotel with a balcony and overlooking the roof of the rest of the hotel beneath it. That's the balcony of the floor below us.
Yeah,
and the roof of the restaurant.
So this is a glass panel.
Yeah,
and that's a glass panel. And this is the post that holds the two glass panels together.
Yeah, and the boards at the bottom of the balcony below us, and the lines at the top, like I said, are flat because that's the roof of the restaurant.
Oh yeah, it's really
so
great.
Is that something edge on? Is it an edge on panel? Is that
what
we're it's sort of to stop people on that balcony walking onto the roof, I imagine.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Mags, that is stunning, absolutely stunning. Now, one further thing that nobody else has suggested yet. Look at this line here. Let's just see if I can magnify it. Now, can you see that line isn't quite horizontal? Can you see? You still with me, Mags?
Yes, all I need to do is bring it down a tad and it disappears.
Bring it down a tad, or just grab the corner and just...
Half a degree.
Not,
half a degree.
Yeah, nothing too much. I think Mags has got the answer. Bring it down a tad.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that knot hole. I'm not worried about that knot hole or that knot hole. I think it would make... I don't know if you can do this with mobile phone pictures. Maybe you can.
On my computer, I can play with them.
Yeah, a stunningly good print. Because I want to see a little bit more of the texture, particularly in the brightest planking, but not too much. Don't overcook it. I think it's going to be a gorgeous print. Absolutely, really well seen. God, Max, you're so good. Fantastic.
I've got the brownie point today, have I?
You are definitely on the brownie point.
He likes it, Mags. He likes
Yeah.
Ah, Shock Horror Pro.
Yeah. Well, that is really good, Max. Such a seeing eye. Fantastic. What did we see previously? Was that one of yours as well? Oh, yeah, the knot. I'm going to put that in the magazine, and the U3A members will look at it and turn over. They won't appreciate it. That is a photographer's photo. You are a star. Really well done. And you can tell Dave that I said so, because I think that's terrific.
Thank you.
Now, let's have a look at this one. Prowl Point. Now, isn't that good? What a good title. Titles are, I feel, the most difficult thing. And I'll tell clubs, when I judge them, that you shouldn't have more than 3 words in your title. Any more than 3 words, and I take a mark off. And then their faces fall. Unless they've seen me before and they said, we knew you were going to say that. Okay. Prowl Point. Lovely title. Simple. Less is more. Got it. But. What's the but?
cut off the prow.
Yeah, that's not worrying me too much, but you what?
It is falling out of the frame.
It's falling out of the frame because she's cut off the bow or the prow. Perfectly good word of the little tender there. Yeah, that's not what's troubling me.
Time to get up.
Sorry, let this blooming clock stop chiming at me. If that clock was mine, I'd castrate the bloody thing. Sorry.
Can it not break down? Is it the chains? Is it the chains
I
of
don't dare
the
touch
bow
it.
of the boat?
It's great granddad's, so I must not. Oh, you're talking about the boat? I'm talking about the flipping clock that's chiming. No, it's not what's troubling me. Your average bog standard judge is going to pick up
It's
on the
just,
horizon.
yeah, yes.
Our horizon is not horizontal. Yeah. And so straight away, that's the biggest thing. I love the way that you've got the reflection in here, but I have to say everything's in focus. And this is the problem with mobile phone photos. Somebody was explaining to me at the weekend, I was away at the weekend in Ipswich, and sailed up to Ipswich and spent the time with the club. And someone was telling me how wonderful their mobile phone is, because everything's in focus, from the train on the bow, through the boat, through the beach, to the groin, to the distant horizon and the marker post there. But I don't want all of that in focus. I want the subject in focus, and I want increasing softness to give me 3-dimensionality. But he was someone that doesn't know about photography like you do. So first of all, Max, you should have rejected this until you corrected that horizon, because anything with a wonky horizon is a no-no. Further, and I don't know if is this mobile phone or camera?
It's a mobile phone, but my argument is that the groin or whatever, rocks or whatever they are, that is also a prow point.
Yep.
So I never thought about softening it, but I thought that was also a prow point.
Yeah, I can see why you're saying that. Yeah, so there's an interplay.
And to me, that needed it. To me, it looks better in focus than not. Yeah,
well, and we've all got our own opinions, and yours is as valued as mine. Mine's just totally invalid. I mean, if you like my suggestion, that's great. If you don't like my suggestion, it's equally great. I'm quite happy with that. I can live with that. But in a club competition, a wonky horizon is a no-no. And mobile phones, to me, are great that we get people taking pictures of family. The only problem is that when the software changes, all their pictures will be lost unless they have printed them or saved them in a way that they'll be able to look back at in 10 years' time. And we all will be alive in 10 years' time. But, you know, in 50 years' time, when your grandchildren look at them and look at the pictures you took 50 years ago, you know, it would be nice for them to be good photos, not go public average photos. But it does get the public interested in taking pictures, but they are very much snapshots. Anyway, an interesting photo, certainly worth discussing. Lots of talking points on that, so well done on that. Let's move on. Mo's chart just can't stop smiling. Now, here we go. Anthropomorphism. What does it mean, Mo? Are you still with us? Have you gone? Maurice, are you there? No.
I was on mute.
He's on mute. We can't hear you, Mo.
Sorry, I'm muted. I'm muted because of the builder next door.
Oh, I'm sorry for the builder, but anthropomorphism, what does it mean?
It means like a human, making animal features like human.
Exactly.
And I make the dog as if it's smiling.
That's right. Now, do dogs smile? I rather am anxious about anthropomorphism, but it does look as if
It's a very happy dog.
Yeah, I would say it looks, if it would be a human, I would say it's smiling, but it's not a human, it's a dog. And I don't think dogs smile. I know that
They do. They do.
there you are. Well, that's Iris stepping in and saying, yes, her dog smiles. That's great. That's great. I just am a bit anxious about it. I mean, I've seen pictures of ostriches and they tell me they're smiling. Well, you've got to have an imagination to see an ostrich smiling. Incidentally, yesterday on the motorway, there was a dead, guess what? You will never guess. It was big and it had a tail. Dead on the motorway. What do you think?
Horse?
No. Keep going.
Ostrich.
Keep
Cow.
going.
Cow.
Keep going. You're the right scale. You'll never get it. I'll tell you now. It was a kangaroo. I have never seen a dead kangaroo on a motorway, but I saw one yesterday, and it was huge, absolutely huge. So how the dickens did the kangaroo get onto the motorway? Who knows? Mo's just can't keep smiling. So anthropomorphism, he's got it beautifully positioned. Whoever's dog this is it yours?
We all stroked it, don't you remember?
We all stroked it.
We
I don't
all
know.
dog, yes. It was just before we got to the light ship. There was a man there with a dog.
Oh, yeah.
That
Right.
is the dog. And you remember it, very happy and was
Yeah.
smiling.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're saying, and I like the positioning of it. Is it less is more? Well, I think it's not, because I can only see dog in that image. And there's no three-dimensionality, except you might say, well, it's a soft background up here in the corners. I agree. Don't know how much jiggery-pokery has been performed on it. Perhaps not a lot.
No.
There's quite a lot of jiggery-pokery in that. And it's a beautiful portrait of a dog, which we are given to believe is smiling.
You could take the caption another way, couldn't you? You could say, just can't stop smiling when I look at that dog.
Ah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. In its favor, Mo has chosen the settings on the camera such that the white of the dog's fur hasn't been burned out. Beautifully exposed, well taken photo. Does it tick the box for less is more? Well, your grandma would say it's a jolly good photo of that dog smiling at you. Okay, well, we'll move on from that, but thank you for that, Mo. Let's go on to the next one. And, oh, more knots. Knotty problem. Yes, okay. I wouldn't like to put a title on what sort of a knot that is. It looks like it's a bowline which has gone slightly wrong, and then there's half hitches to take up some of the spare rope. what on earth that block
Oh, you are kind.
That's me.
bracket is doing, I have no idea. Beautifully blurry in the background, whether that's camera settings or whether that is photo manipulation, jiggery pokery, I don't know. But I like the way the light is catching the back of the rope and the edges of the rope here. Is it about less is more? Well, yes, it is. And we've got a blurry background, so the background doesn't intrude, yes. And is it three-dimensional? It definitely is. Again, it's one of those, what would your grandma say, photos, and I love it. I love it. Can we be at all critical of this? Anyone, anything to critique on this that I haven't said?
Perfect.
Perfect. That's good. I think it's a cracking good picture for Mo, you know, as far as Mo's concerned. It's
I did actually change it, knowing who the judge was.
oh,
It was going the other way. It was actually diagonally going the other way. So I flipped.
Yeah.
It went from left to right and went from corner to corner.
Yeah, well, I think that's very, very wise of you, Mo, because I would have picked up on that.
Yes, you
Bearing
would.
in mind that we read from left to right. I like that diagonal. And yeah, that's skillfully done. The only concern I would have is the width of the stroke line is a little wide. I would tend to have about 2/3 of that or even half of it. But in a club competition, I think that's a great image to put in to your local area competition if you're still in one. I don't know, do you submit to Hadley anymore or not?
I'm sorry, say that again, David.
Do you submit to Hadley Camera Club?
No, I don't. No.
Okay. But you're still affiliated to them, are you?
I organise their website for them.
Right. Oh, you're a kind man. That's very true. Oh, look at those lovely cobwebs and the rust on that. I think that's cracking good. Thank you. Thank you, Mo. Well done. Let's move on to the next. Now, heavily photo manipulated. Why not? Absolutely terrific. I love the way that you've got rid of the background and kept all the intricacies and the detail and the texture of this this bollard with the rope figure-eighted around it, figure 8 over and over and over again. I like that. Color-wise, Mo, this is a sort of a burnt chocolate meringue color to my eye, and as such, it's a very interesting choice of color. However, whatever you've done to the background, to me, is distracting. It's a little bit too dominant. And okay, light.
It was against the side of the light ship, and it was little objects on the side of the ship, and I thought Dave's going to say that's distracting. So I'll blur it out. Yeah,
and you did it very well indeed. I like the way it's all streaked out that way. It's just a little over the top. It's a little over the top.
Yeah.
This is, incidentally, how many ropes are there on a light ship?
What? How many?
How many ropes are there on a light ship? Well, let's say a Thames barge. That might
One.
Be one, Terry's saying. Explain, Terry.
The only rope on a ship is on the ship's bell. All the others are sheets.
I would say not one, but none, because the one on the bow is likely to be called a warp. And you are dead right. Your thought processes are dead right. There are no ropes. They're all either sheets or warps. Or roads, RODES. But I like that, Mo. I think you are getting there. You're an up-and-coming photographer. You're doing quite well as a junior member. Very good. So well done on that one. I like it. The colour's a little bit strong, but I can see where you're coming from with the colour of the lightship hull. This is before or after we got told off, but nonetheless, we're obviously, those that didn't come, you missed a really terrific day out. And certainly those of us that went with Bill had a terrific experience of being driven there. Didn't balance. And
what happened on that trip? You've referred to it 3 times.
it was stunning. It was really lovely to be able to be driven and to look around and see the scenery. Now, my only slight concern, though, is that here, can you see I've got a little bit of, shall I dare say, sharpness coming through, almost like a halo coming through. And that may be that either manually or automatically selecting the subject, blurring everything. Maybe you did it in layers. I don't know how you did it. It doesn't matter. But it's just coming through as halos. You see where I'm pointing?
Yeah, you're right.
Worth going back and reworking it. And I would suggest you don't do this quite so heavily, because these starburst effects is a little bit heavy, but I like that. No, that's good. Worth monochroming, I think. And again, look at Gavin Hoey and look at Gavin Hoey's way of monochroming, but I like that very much. That's well done, Mo. So yes, close to being a winning photo, but I tell you what, Mo, I'll tell you what, everyone, these are such a marvelous bunch of photos this season round that you've all done fantastically well. Right, Susanne. Now, Susanne here has a wonderful aspect ratio on this image of a breezy day. I think it's a blooming violent storm, if I'm not mistaken. And was it the recent storm that we had?
Yes.
Fabulous opportunity. I'm going down to Portland Bill in the next few days, so I'm hoping for a storm to come in. I think Friday we've got thunder and lightning storms, so I'll be on the tip of Portland Bill to try and get some shots there. And look at the way these waves have been captured as they crash over the wall here. We have a subject, a point of interest, a point of focus, to focus our attention upon this seat. This is all obscured by the wave, so it's not distracting me. I've got sharper and sharper in these posts on the wall. Fabulous, really good. Is it a raw image, Suzanne?
No. I have to say I was too scared to get out of the car because
That's right. Yeah.
I was taking this out of the car window.
Yeah, that's good.
I was too scared to get out.
It's worth trying to print on. I love the very, very narrow stroke line there. Worth looking into this image in your camera and seeing whether you can add to the texture and then printing it, because I think that would come up really good as a print. So well done, Suzanne. Yeah, that's terrific. I've nothing else I would say. Horizon is horizontal. Violence of the storm has been captured. Breezy is a little bit of an understatement, isn't it? I love it. I love it. So well done on that one, and we'll move on to the next. I'm going to reduce that. How do I do that? No. Anthropomorphism. Inquisitive. Yes, I can see why you're saying that. I'm finding a cat's eyes are rather threatening. They look sort of devil-like, don't they? Inquisitive. Is that cat inquisitive? Or maybe you see you're emotionally connected to it. Is it your cat?
Yep.
Right. And was it inquisitive? Is it looking?
Yeah. It was sitting at the windowsill, and I thought, and then it poked its nose right up to the cat.
Yeah, well, that's behavioural, isn't it, rather than photographic? But I love the way you've captured it. I will. Yeah, I like it a lot. Super duper. Take lots of pictures of your pussycat.
I thought about the less is more, because obviously I haven't taken the whole cat. I've only just.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, good idea. Very good. Let me just find where my score sheet is. So now that's the sort of picture that the U3A members would appreciate. And you know, whereas if I give them a knot in a piece of rope, they can say, well, what's that all about? Strange photography group. But I mean, you are so successful.
Plus, he's got funny ears. Everybody says, "Oh, he's got weird ears," and that makes them laugh.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's a picture that your grandma would appreciate. I mean, none of us have got grandmas anymore, have we? But there you go. Lovely image, beautifully positioned. The last one left. It's making my mouth water. Beautifully taken, sharp where it's meant to be sharp, diagonal composition, off of center. You see, Joe Public will put that in the middle, but you're not Joe Public. You are skilled photographers. I like that very much indeed.
It was about, I might add, it was a whopping big strawberry. It was about, I should have put something to give it scale, because it was about 2.5 inches across.
Yeah, but they don't taste, do they? The most tasty ones are the little tiny ones, the Alpine strawberries.
It did taste nice, but it was the largest strawberry I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, maybe I can't taste so well these days after COVID. Yeah, to me, the little Alpine strawberries are the really tasty ones. These great big ones you buy in the shop, it's a mouthful of cotton wool to me, but there you go. Beautifully positioned. If you were putting this up as an advert for strawberries, you can imagine the words here, you know, Waitrose, the best for visit Tesco's strawberries. Yeah, great. Really love it. Superb image. Well done, Suzanne. Try printing it on textured paper, and I think you've got a stunningly good less is more. There's nothing else in that picture, and you've even dribbled on it. Look, when your mouth was watering. Is that rude? Well, if it is, I apologise, but I think it's a stunningly good photo.
No, I'd washed it and then thought, oh, I've got to take a photo.
Yeah, great. Yeah, no, it's really good, Suzanne. Well done. Congratulations. Super. And that one would be appreciated by the U3A. You know, Margaret Flack wants me to send you pictures in for her newsletter. I will include that one. It's just so good. I love it. I love it. Terry's in the woods. Less is more. I have tripped over Terry in the woods before now and then discovered who it was. Taking pictures in the woods, and it's great. I love the aspect ratio. I love the simplicity of this dead vine on the side of the tree here, and the softness of the background, wide open aperture. That's great. And again, it would make a good advert, wouldn't it? You can imagine having text in here that says, come to Westwood, or come to Hadley, or come to Hadley Downs, or visit Terry's den, you know, a phone number down here, you know, we have lessons in photography from Terry. Another expert photographer, really well done, Terry. Again, is it a U3A picture? Do you think your grandma would appreciate that? What would your grandma say, Terry?
No.
You still with us? Yep, come on.
Why would I want a picture of dead leaves?
Why would anyone want a print of dead leaves? Yeah, that's a very good comment. I think it's not a grandma picture, but I think it is a photographer's picture. And as such, it's a stunningly good one. I really like it. Anyone else got a funny title for it? Or even a funny saying that your grandma, if she was still with us, would come out with? Mags, come on, you're good at titles.
Hang on. You could play with the gardener's idea of always trying to kill ivy. You could work on trying to kill ivy because it's a pain in the neck.
Yep.
But nothing comes to mind at the moment.
Yeah. No, I like that one. I like that one. Yeah, kill the ivy.
You could have it's dead.
Thank goodness. Great. Well done, Terry. That would be a super print. And a matte paper, I think.
Maybe. What about dead rotten?
Keeps it simple. Yeah, keeps it simple. Yeah, okay. Well done, Terry. Good one. Make sure I've written that down. Yep. And we're moving on to, oh, look at this. Oh, now. Come on then. Grandma, what's Grandma going to say?
It's upside down.
It's upside down. What did you take a picture of that for? You're going to show me a picture of the light ship. Show me the light ship, not its reflection. But I like it a lot. Look at the aspect ratio. It's perfect. Look at the detail here in the swirling waters and the reflection in the sky. And you've cropped it perfectly. You've just kept the way that the light captures, just kisses the top of those plants. And I think it's marvelous. I really do think it's marvelous. Let's get rid of that out of the way. Very, very good seeing eye. Less is more. Ticks the box. 100%. 100%. Well done, Terry. Anything else I would say about it? Very little to say about it. So good. Yeah, I know what I would say. Terry, did you use a polarizing filter?
No.
I knew you didn't.
Wait a minute.
Go on.
It was a dull day, if you remember, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The water was very muddy.
Yeah.
But this is where I learned a little bit about manipulation. By pure accident, I found I could graduate the image and put a blue sky in.
Yeah, yeah. We all learn. Isn't it good to be learning, even at our advanced age? I think that's cracking good. And let me say about composition. Now, this lighthouse reflection is nearly in the middle, but it's sufficiently off from the middle to make it a delicious image. You know, the 2/3 rule, or the thirds rule, you don't need everything on the third. You can put it slightly off center. This would be center to me, but it's sufficiently off center just to niggle and to look interesting. I like that a lot. I think if the light ship was there, the reflection was there, it wouldn't be so interesting. And certainly look at this wonderful texture here. Now, I thought Terry was going to say, yes, I had a polarizing filter, but it was in my camera bag and I didn't put it on. And oh, so often I think I've been in a position where I think, oh, I wish I'd put the polarizing filter on. But if you're walking around in a group and losing yourself in your thoughts about advanced photography, then, you know, it's forgivable. But I think that's cracking good. Well done, Terry. Another full marks on that one. Let's move on. Time's ticking by, and tickets, please. Oh, right. I guess this is in somewhere like the Canby Transport Museum, but it might not have been. Who knows? Who cares? Tickets, please. And some people are going to remember these ticket machines from the days on the buses. And then we got a ticket, and it had to go in the machine, and it had to be. Was it date stamped or was it somehow punched? I think it was punched, wasn't it? Yeah, great, super. Less is more. It's not about the conductor's pouch here, his bag. It's about the ticket machine. Yeah, just enough of the background to be about the ticket machine and not about the background. I like it very much indeed. Well done, Terry. Another winner. Yeah, well done, Terry. Very good indeed. Moving on. Sally's The Lone Lighthouse. This is Dovercourt or thereabouts, isn't it? And there are two of these which from seaward you align the one with the other to give you a line on your chart to work out where you are. And it is a lighthouse, a lone lighthouse. Horizontal horizon, not wonky at all. Full marks on that. I'm not seeing a stroke line. Let's see if there is one. No, or maybe there's a black one and I can't see it. But I very much like the gradation in the sky, even without a polarizing filter. What time of day was this taken? Well, look at the shadow I'm going to suggest to you that's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There is sufficient shadow there for me just about to discern it. But I am going to set your homework. You need to go back and do it again at near to sundown. There's the shadow.
It was actually about 7 o'clock in the evening.
Was it?
Believe it or
Right.
not, yes.
Yeah, okay. You need to, so summertime then, was it, Sally?
Yes, it was fairly recently. It was actually a really poor evening for doing these photographs because
Right.
the whole intention was to go and do long exposures.
Yes.
But it was a really sunny evening.
Yes.
And the sun lasted for far too long. It was freezing cold, but the sun lasted for too long. So I'm not thrilled with the picture, David.
Well, it's not, don't run it down. It's not bad at all. My only concern is that my attention is a fairly fast shutter speed. So the waves breaking here are captured sharply. And I consider cropping them off altogether.
Right.
Yeah. Just consider, not necessarily do it. Well, do it and then reconsider, because my eye is flicking from the brightest part to the subject part. Having said that you don't need it on the third, yours is pretty much central, and I would consider just cropping it. I don't know if you have any more image on the left, or crop just that much off, just to get the lighthouse off to one side, just enough to be non-central. So something like a crop there, whoops, and there. Now, I don't know if your software will allow you, yes, I do, because I do know what your software will do, to put a graduated filter in. Have you found the graduated filter control on Lightroom?
Yes, I've got a feeling I may have applied that to the sky, but I can't remember.
Okay, well, I would suggest that if you do graduated filter, you turn down the exposure. So on your exposure slider, turn the exposure down a smidge, and the graduated filter is one of those buttons at the top there, and just drag it down to about there, and it will automatically darken down to the level. Darkening becomes less as you drag the marker down. And that would, I think, be an improved photo.
Okay.
I like the shadow, we've zoomed in on it. And yeah, it's got the potential of being a very good photo. So well done, Sally. That's very good. It's very difficult to be your own critic, but that's what you have to do. But you're a winner there, and it's a horizontal horizon. So well done. And a lone lighthouse is as good a name for it as any. I rather like this one, the seed head of this. I believe that's an allium. Yes. And as such, that seed head, there's no scale on it, but that would be about a hand in size,
Yeah, a bit bigger. They're quite big ones, so it is quite a large one.
Quite big. Now, the only problem is it seems to grow out of the left-hand side, and I prefer it to grow out of the bottom left-hand corner.
Okay.
So just crop off at about that level, so it's growing from the left-hand corner. Now, do we want it central, or would it be better if that cropped off around about there? Well, try it and see. You might disagree, that's okay. But I think Sally's image, ladies and gentlemen, is about the loftiness of this seed head. They're about probably between 2 and 3 feet tall. So if you were to crop it around about
this is actually about 5.5 foot tall.
Is it?
Massive, yes.
Wow.
I don't know where I got them from, but
wow, that's good. Well, save the seed. Can I have some of the seed from it, please,
yes,
next year? And you know, if you cropped it something like there, and there, and crop there, so it's coming out of the bottom corner, then I think that will accentuate the loftiness of this, even without something to give scale to it. Giving scale is useful, but you don't always want to, and it doesn't. You know, this is less is more. Beautiful sky. You've obviously dialed up a good sky. You put your shilling in the meter and dialed up a jolly good sky. So terrific image. Well done, Sally. Terrific attempt. So have I seen two from Sally, or did
Yes,
I?
yes, I'm afraid things have
Two.
been a bit fraught the last few
Yeah,
weeks, so you only got
that's
two.
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Last, David. That
Say
was the
again.
last.
Sorry, Mo.
I was saying that was the last photo.
That's the
This-
last photo. Right. Well, if I just review these for a minute, you know, you've done so well, ladies and gentlemen. You've got such terrific images. I mean, just being quite arbitrary about it. Look at that. That is brilliant. Brenda, well done. I know you're not here today, but maybe if Mo's recording mechanism is working, and that's terrific. Yeah. So straight away, 2 out of 3 winners. Yeah. Diana, that's marvelous. That's got great potential. Yeah, nearly 2 out of 3. Fred, that's got lots of potential. That's a winner. Let's crop it and sort it. And if only you'd moved a wheelbarrow there. But we've got lots of choice here, haven't we? I love Iris's first class Great Northern Railway image. And I like the fly. It's really quite different, isn't it? And again, take lots and lots of Monty and see what else you can do. I love this one from Caroline. Flip it left to right, get the boy to be here. That one just crop.
David, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. You know what? You know why I did try and flip it, but
Yep.
all the other, because I wanted it as a triptych, I had them all coming out the left-hand corner, the beach.
Yeah.
So it's the same direction. It didn't look right when I flipped it.
But if you rearrange the order and put this image on the right and this image on the left, that image in the middle, then it would work as a triptych. One
Right.
going left, middle, right.
Okay.
The triptych would flow, if you follow me.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about all the work that there is
Yeah.
on that one. But there's 3 marvelously good photos. Well done, Caroline. You've got the seeing eye. Now look at this. Now, what are we going to say here? Look at Max's picture, which we've chewed the fat on enough. That is a stunning winner. Stunning winner. Well done, Max. Absolutely outstanding. And congratulations on that one. Mo's smiling dog and rope that isn't a rope, and yet more rope. It's very, very interesting indeed. Look at Suzanne's strawberry. That's making my mouth water. That really is making my mouth water. I love the storm, the evil-looking cat, even though you just told, you told me he's just inquisitive. Terry's seeing eye. I mean, look at that. Isn't that good? Isn't that fantastic? And well, we've just been chewing the fat over Sally's excellent allium here and this lone lighthouse. Well done indeed. So scores on the doors. Scores on the doors. Who's got 3 in a way? Let's just see what I've written here. I can't read in this light. Let me just see. Written down.
No,
Yeah.
just to let you know, the builder's noise still comes through when you mute.
Say that again, Terry.
We can still hear the builders even though you mute.
Oh, right. Okay.
Is that because you're recording it?
No, I don't know. It should mute the microphone. Listen, folks, I've got to be in Canby at 12 o'clock, so I'm going to have to leave.
Do you know the way, Mo?
I know the way. I know the way. But if I leave the meeting, I think the video will carry on. But I am going to have to leave now.
Have a nice
Happens,
summer.
David.
Have a nice summer.
David's not even there. But I don't want to end the whole session, obviously. I don't know if I can leave.
I think that was that noise from Mo though, or did somebody else have a Hoover going or something in the background?
I don't know. I don't know.
But if you muted it, we shouldn't be able to hear anything, should we?
Ah,
If I'll tell you what, I'll mute now and I'll keep talking.
No, we can't hear you.
But
I
no, you
think
can't.
I think you unmuted when we heard the noise. I think it was when you unmuted that
Do you
we
reckon?
heard.
Yeah.
Have we lost David completely?
No, I'm here. I'm just having a reconsideration.
David, David, can I just say I've got 2 minutes and then we'll have to end. I've got
Right,
to leave.
I will complete in 1 minute. The winner, no, the second. Let me just say the second is, and congratulations, Caroline, you are second highest score today. So well done to you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I think equal second has to be Mags. Really, really very good indeed. I am well impressed. That's good. But the winner, the virtual chocolate egg, and it has to be virtual because it would melt in this heat, and it's down here. The winner, outstanding, and I hope you will agree, within the time limit, is Terry. So well done, Terry. Absolutely fantastic. And congratulations to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know your challenge for the summer is Willie Nelson. And it's been lovely seeing you all. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a minute. There we are. And well done to Terry. Well done to everyone. It's been absolutely an eye-opening delight to see how well you've all done. And
You to you,
well
David. Thank you for your critiques. We appreciate it.
Well, have a great summer. I'm going to be off to Dorset tomorrow. I am playing with my grandchildren this evening, and then they'll kiss me goodbye when they go to school tomorrow, and I will be off to Dorset to watch the storm at Portland Bill and down to Dawlish. That sort of, is it Dawlish? Is that where I'm going? Anyway.
So do we not have these next month? No.
Well, Mo might organise a private one.
All right.
But you all know your summer homework is Willie Nelson, and the next regular one with me should what's the phrase for this? Should I make it that long? Should I live that long? Will be third Wednesday in September.
Right. Okay.
Spared. That's the phrase. If
you're spared, yes.
If we are
God
spared.
willing, I think it's the expression you're looking for.
God willing, and and Davy Jones's Locker, and the Gods of the Sea, and the Gods of the M25. Can I just point you to avoiding the M25 southern route? There was over an hour's delay at the bridge yesterday. I had to go by the northern route. Just miles and miles of static lorries, miles and miles. So if you're tempted to go on the M25, my best advice is don't. Go a different way. Go via Birmingham or somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, have a great summer. Congratulations on
Same to you.
They were really, really good images. I am well impressed. And I don't often say that, you will know, because I can be a grumpy judge sometimes. Terry will tell you, he's nodding in agreement. You did really well. Well done, everyone. Have a great summer, and I'll wave you goodbye.
And you. Have a good summer, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.